Welcome to American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Bonati alongside Ethan Youker. We have an exciting show lined up. We're going to get right to it. Now, a new study in both mice and human cell samples has found that it may be possible to actually rejuvenate aging livers and even undo some of the damage that has occurred over time. Joining us to discuss is senior author of that study, Mae Diehl, MD, the Florence McAllister Distinguished Professor of Medicine at Duke University School of Medicine. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Diehl.
Kimberly, thank you for having me. Look forward to talking with you.
Certainly. So can you start off by explaining what ferroptosis is and why it contributes to liver damage?
And so our bodies are really machines. And just like all machines, they're going to wear out with use over time. Some people come with a beautiful liver that's perfect and is going to last them a lifetime. Other people may have some inherent weaknesses in that tissue that makes it more vulnerable to stress. And so what we found is that by comparing old liver cells and young liver cells, we could find what things were going wrong in the old cells, because presumably they were the ones that were wearing out. And then we found that some of the things that were happening naturally in the old cells seemed to be happening in cells of people with much younger livers that were diseased. And that's where ferroptosis comes in. So what ferroptosis is, it's a kind of a way that cells can die, and it involves oxidizing the fats in the cells, and they call it ferroptosis because that process can be stimulated by iron. So what we found is that old cells over time are known to actually accumulate iron, and they also get beat up by oxidative stress. And then if they have a lot of fat in there, that's a perfect storm, and you can start to oxidize that fat, and that can ultimately kill the cell. So it turns out that's one of the processes that goes on in a very common kind of liver disease called metabolic dysfunction-associated steatotic liver disease, basically fatty liver. This pathway seems now to be more important than we had realized. And so to look at that, we treated some mice with a medication that would inhibit that pathway. And we were able to show that we could turn the old livers back to look like young livers. And even though the animals were still eating bad diets that would cause them to be fatty.
That's very interesting. And now this ferroptosis, this type of cell death, I should say, is also implicated in damage to the heart, the kidney, and the pancreas. Is that also correct?
Many people looking at degenerative diseases, which we know get worse with aging, such as Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, heart failure, kidney failure. All of our organs can wear out with age. And what we learned was that the same thing that seems to be causing aging or causing cells to die during aging or become dysfunctional in the liver is probably also going on in certain cells in the brain and in the heart and in the kidney. And the reason that's exciting is because then we might be able to treat the accelerated aging and the dysfunction that develops in those tissues with one medicine. It would work everywhere. It would work in the kidney, it would work in the brain, it would work in the liver, it could work in the heart.
The main focus of the study was on non-alcoholic fatty liver disease.
Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease associates with other metabolic conditions, like being overweight or obese, having high blood pressure, having high cholesterol, having diabetes, all of the things that we know cause an increased risk for heart disease, stroke, kidney disease, diabetes. And what our findings would suggest is that maybe they're clustering together because the cells in the organs of people that get those diseases are all experiencing a similar kind of stress that's causing them to be more vulnerable to this particular kind of death.
Now, talk about this genetic signature, which actually suggests that there might be a target for pharmacological treatment, right? Drugs. Tell us a little bit about that.
We wanted to see if we could pin down what the problem was as cells get older. And what we did is we isolated liver cells from very old mice, 2-year-old mice, which would be equivalent of 90-year-old people, and very young mice that were like teenagers. And we compared the different genes that were expressed in the old versus the young. And we came up with a group of genes that we called a signature. And it was that signature that we realized was correlating with the severity of liver damage related to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And if we can remove those stresses that are activating that death pathway, the cell will go back and look young again. And that's what the medication did. It eliminated that stress.
Can you tell us about this ferrostatin 1 injection and what those results were?
Yeah, so that ferrostatin is a chemical that's been around for a while. And what people discovered that it does is it can soak up these toxic fat molecules that are killing the cell. So as cells get older, they make more of these toxic fats or toxic lipids. Those are what kill the cell. If you can stop those lipids from being formed, or even if they're formed, you can eliminate them, soak them up like a sponge, and remove them from the cell.
What's next in this research? When do you, I guess, foresee this sort of treatment being available for humans?
So I suspect that something will be put together by pharmaceutical companies to do this. Exactly what it is remains to be discovered. This particular medication, before it became available for people, would have to undergo clinical trials and get FDA approval. So by no means is it already on the market.
Well, it sounds like we're still years away from that magic, I guess, injection. But thank you so much for being on the program. Dr. Mae Diehl, thank you for joining us on American Medicine Today.
Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you, Ethan. It was good to talk to you.
Take great care. Stay tuned. We'll have more after the break. You are watching American Medicine Today.
The loss of coordination in my legs, I'd trip over my feet, end up flat in the concrete. Dr. Bonati to me was God sent. Walk like that no longer. I don't remember how long. I didn't have to make a massive lifestyle change. I noticed today that I could sit and stand up without a cane. I would have to give it excellent and above my expectations.
Visit AskBonati.com.
My name is Howie Miller. I'm a very active person. I ride motorcycles, I used to weightlift, I used to do a gamut of things. But due to my disc problem, I stopped everything. Well, I had an accident years ago, probably 20 years ago, that hurt my back severely. And over the years, I lived with the pain. Then I had another accident approximately a year and a half ago that aggravated the pain. It never went away. The pain I had in my back was radiating down the back of my both thighs, going down to my calves. In the back of my thighs, it felt like somebody was putting two knives in the back and then twisting them. And then my calves will have spasms as well from both of those pains in the back of my thigh. My disc was bulging out, literally pinching my clump of nerves going down to my legs. I tried everything. I tried stretching, I tried exercising. I actually used an inversion table to try to alleviate my pain. After using my inversion table, I could not even walk correctly. Nothing would alleviate my pain. So I saw several people concerning my problem. I actually went to a pain therapist person where they put facet injections in my back. They did steroids in my back. Nothing worked. Then I went to another institute. They recommended me to do a fusion. And I said to myself, I'm pretty young. I'm only 58 years old. And also he told me that I have to find a different line of work. So that was a life-changing experience. I actually went into my car and I started to cry because my whole life, this is my job. And for somebody to tell you that you're gonna have to change your job, your whole profession, right, in 20 minutes, it's just devastating. I didn't think that was the way to go to do a fusion at this time. So I said to myself, I'm going home, I'm gonna do a little more research on the computer. I found the Bonati Spine Institute, which was approximately 10 minutes from my location. I did a little bit more research on it. I made a phone call to the Bonati Spine Institute. I told them my situation. They would have taken me in that day if it was earlier. So they instantly made an appointment for me the next day at 9 o'clock in the morning.
First-time guests at Bonati are often shocked at the comprehensive protocol utilized by the Institute to prepare them for surgery.
First day when I went down there, I got there at 9 o'clock in the morning. It was the consultation day. They did a full evaluation of me. It took me around 45 to 50 minutes. They evaluated me. Then I went for an EKG. Then I went for an MRI. Then I went for a series of x-rays and blood work, all in the same day. I knew nothing about my back. I went to prior MRIs. Nobody explained anything about my back. And they never showed me pictures about my back. He sat me down right next to him and he showed me in detail exactly what my problem was on the MRI. I can visually see my disc that was blocking the bunch of nerves.
It's normal to feel nervous about surgery, but the thorough evaluations, patented surgical techniques, and use of conscious IV sedation during the Bonati Spine procedures help put guests at ease.
I was a little apprehensive, because you're going to have spine surgery, all right? I never had spine surgery before. I felt comfortable because he explained everything in detail to me.
Howie describes his experience with the targeted Bonati Spine procedures.
And he asked me, do you feel this? I go, yes. The anesthesia was right on the side of me, talking to me. And I asked him, I said, is there any way I can see this? And he gave me an iPad and he held it right by my face. And I was actually watching, it was performing the surgery. Like, mind you now, I remember this now. I felt no pain whatsoever when I was on the table. But now that I remember it, I remember exactly what these situations were. I mean, it was like you were in a fog. It was amazing. I'm not a doctor. I didn't know what he was doing, but I just wanted to see what somebody's doing back there. It's a little bit self-assurance.
For many, the first sign of success comes while in the recovery room.
Within 5 minutes, they told me to stand up. I stood up and I said to myself, I feel no pain. I had tears in my eyes. I was waiting to have the pain. And when I stood up, I had no pain whatsoever. I just couldn't believe it. Every day I woke up, I was looking forward to standing on my feet to see how I was going to act, how I'm going to feel. I feel like a new man. It's like night and day.
And in a few short days, Bonati Spine procedure recipients can return to life as it was before the pain.
Right now, since I'm filming this, it's been 10 days since my procedure. I feel no pain in my legs. My back is healing 100%, and I feel like a new man. And if you've gone to several people, right, and everybody gave you an excuse of why your back pain is, whether it's a chiropractor, acupuncture, a pain therapist, do me a favor. Just get a second opinion and go to Bonati Spine Institute because they saved my life.
To see more stories of recovery just like this, search for the Bonati Spine Institute on YouTube, Rumble, Apple's App Store, Google's Play Store, Roku, and Amazon's Fire TV. If you have any comments or questions, contact us at the numbers below. Or you can tweet at Dr. Bonati using the hashtag American Medicine Today or hashtag AMT. We would like to hear from you.